Shabbat Shalom. This is the time of day when I normally either take a nap or I'll begin lining up movies to watch on Shabbos. As Shabbos begins. And I was kind of exhausted because I've been dealing with one particular, I know I got a Mike Pence fly landing on my head. It's the warmest it's been in about a week or more, well, probably in 12, 14 days, something like that. So in the high 70s, almost about to hit 80. And I'm really directing this at the guy who's I've allowed to stay up there for a long time because he's just kind of proven my point. My point here is that I'm going to talk about a word called rhetoric. That's your freshman year in classical English. The difference between real rhetoric, which is based on facts, and political rhetoric, which is based on persuading people with feelings and with non-fact. Like there is only two genders. Some people are born gender indiscriminate and they usually at birth assign them to be female. The surgeons. I broke off to make this video because I began watching a Oxford Union debate in which Ben Shapiro, my Hebrew baby, opened himself up to debate every member of the Oxford Union. And the first one gets up, she's ready to go. She's got her cell phone notes. Shapiro doesn't need any notes. She gets up there and begins presenting her rhetoric, but she leaves out like dates. So Shapiro has no idea what kind of march of the whatever, and keeps bringing up things that have moved and changed and over the many decades. She kept going, occupied Palestine. She kept using terms that were not defined, which Shapiro then has a right to challenge on a factual basis. He's demonstrating what a superior rhetorician does in a debate, which is if you make a statement that has any holes in it whatsoever, I will eat your ass. Oh, God. Mark Twain once said something to this effect. Never argue with an idiot because he'll drag you down to his level and beat you. You can't allow yourself. Please, I even had one guy today, I'm pretty sure that was the one that I just ain't even gonna just boom, remove, block. He even used a yo mama technique. Yo mama went out about 30 years ago. That's from a thing called, please, I studied black literature in both high school and a high school whose part of our curriculum was at Stanford. Notice how dark my hands are? They get a lot darker. This face gets as dark as chocolate cake. I don't really want to hear anything from anybody who's, people go, I've never seen nothing like that. Well, that's because you don't have my rather unique and ancient genetics that predate modern evolved humans. So that's how they do it. That's how these Jerry Springer trailer park trash ghetto dwelling, they always, they don't, facts are irrelevant to them. It's all about, I'm here to put a beat down on you. I'm going to completely ignore all the facts to present my opinion as fact. And that's the kind of political rhetoric that Mr. Joe Blow, Blue Knight, Black, whatever his name was. Actually, I think it was a Blue Knight, Black Day. I still don't kind of get it. Is that an inference that he might be a Negro? I'm sorry, I use scientific terms. The scientific terms are Negroid, Caucasoid, and Mongoloid. Nigra, substantia nigra. You're not going to keep me from saying and thinking and using the very same words that I get to use on campus. They're trying to stop that on campus. I really don't pay any attention to, because I've had to really completely shut them out in the last month or so. And I should mark, today marks a full 4 months and a day or so that I have been in Pflugerville. At first, I was really everybody was so nice, but I now see that they, like I've said before, they do have the usual 1 to 2% psychopath, sociopath rate minimum. I know I'm taking too long here, but this guy was trying to argue, and I countered him very good. I want to repeat this in case you don't go back and want to read through, because it's really, YouTube is doing something strange. They're splitting my comments from top to newest into two separate, so you don't have to. The ones that are at the top are the ones that I have allowed to stay there, and the ones that there's somehow YouTube knows that the idiots just seem to automatically be getting. He just throws up like 3 words. 197,000. Actually, I think it's 179,000 versus. He said 75. The last time I checked, it was 79 or 80 subscribers. They come and go. Don't really care. I'm not here to make money. They don't get it. It's this is not about the glorification of my vanity. It's just an old man who's near death. And for the last few years, I've been wanting to record the stories of my life, the science that I know, and try to present my perspective on humanity and many other subjects. And Mark Twain, his perspective on the Jews, you should read. We are a most tenacious people. You're not going to kill us off. And we keep rising to the top. I love my Hebrews. Ben Shapiro, if I would ever vote again for anybody for president of this country, but I know, just like Michael Faraday turning down the presidency of the Royal Society for Science, Natural Philosophy, that you probably wouldn't get into politics, because you just don't want to, like you're doing right now. It's just, I couldn't go on, because the woman just wanted to get her hatred of Jews out directly to a skull cap, a kippah wearing Jew, Ben Shapiro, who she knows is wealthy and respected and admired all over the world. And she's a nobody who somehow managed to get into Oxford due to Rich Daddy and their oil, because that's the requirement, is raise your hand and your membership card, because you don't get to the go to the face-off microphones where you face your opponent head-to-head, toe-to-toe. And she couldn't even take it, because the first thing she brought up, like this march of death or some shit like that. And Shapiro goes, what year is that? Because you're allowed to interrupt when somebody's not specific. But there is a timer in the background that goes, stop. Once you've reached your time limit of like 2 minutes or something like that. I just couldn't take it anymore because I know he's going to beat up every pro-terrorist that comes up there. You're not going to beat Ben Shapiro in a debate. He's got his rhetoric is all what rhetoric is really supposed to be, factual. Let me explain to you right now, those of you who are going into education. Because I personally, if I was on a PhD committee, which I wouldn't want to be, just like Freeman Dyson, the first thing I would do is to see your scores for freshman rhetoric. Actually, if you don't take freshman rhetoric and study English composition, you're not going to get a PhD unless it's in education, because the education department, as long as you're a cultural Marxist, like my niece, Kara Beth Bartek, formerly Nee Kruger, wrote 4 books before Hillary Clinton did. She wrote 4 books encouraging little girls to get into STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, when she has no background. I mean, not even, please, she has no background. See, I broke off there because I was going to point out is that you really only need to go to the library, or if you're a slow person, have a library card for the books that take more than all night to read. Many a time, I spent a good part of my adult life doing 40 to 50 hour sessions where I would be in life sciences library until closing, go across the street to the Metro, my favorite coffee house. And if I didn't pick up a chick there, because that's one of the best places to pick up chicks and then as soon as it was open, I would be back in there finishing, because during the night I would be noting, making notes, sorting, collating things, and deciding my Boolean search constructs for the next day and stuff. It was just my natural drive. Even then, I was already on the appropriate PTSD medication, and if you don't need my medication, it'll make you sleepy. Me, I just took a pill about 10-15 minutes ago to ease my breathing, which was being shallow due to anxiety. The crowds are dropping off now, and mostly if you look over there or something, you can see that they're mostly going shopping. I've already spoken to several people that took off today, and they're going to be off. They're only going to go into work 1 or 2 days next week before they start like a long 4-day weekend holiday thing, or endless holidays. But it's really hard because most of you don't understand the difference between narcissism and vanity and stuff. The problem with idiots like Rush Limbaugh, a narcissist is somebody, the real definition of a narcissist is somebody who always has to be right. No matter how big they fuck up and what they just said or whatever they just did, and they always have to be right. Like Rush Limbaugh always had to be right even when he misspoke. And just pull shit out of his ass, just like these hobos I've been dealing with. Homo hobos. And I think that's the biggest problem is, a lot of more have a delusional disorder, because it's real common in the toothless and trailer park trash and the gay bar scene to have no teeth. But actually, meth is pretty much one of the most preferred especially amongst male homosexuals, because the male homosexuals are noted. That means other people have written it down. I have to explain this for people that people who've actually studied and observed the same things that I have written it down and published it. Male homosexuals are noted for their promiscuity because, unlike women, we can still have real orgasms even though we're taking the same drugs, ibuprofen and shit, that are inhibiting orgasms in women. I'll get into that in another video. If you like what I have to say, which one man already gave me a huge compliment as a world traveler and somebody, he could tell that I'm nonpartisan and stuff. I don't talk party politics. That's when I really know you're a fucking idiot. Whether you're a Republican, a Libertarian, or a Democrat, I know you're a complete idiot because you'll tell any fucking lie, narcissistic fucking lie. You'll tell fake, you'll get into that political rhetoric where you'll lie, distort, dodge the answers, dodge a direct question, in debate. Do anything, you'll dive, in some attempt to make it come out like in your narcissistic, schizo way that you somehow won the debate. And in your mind, in their mind, they actually think that they did. That's really what's amazing about it. That's what Mark Twain was trying to talk about, is that, if you try to get down on their level, no, you need to keep it, I tried to educate the guy that he was clearly hadn't really had any formal education. You don't really need, education doesn't have to be formal, as I've pointed out. There's, matter of fact, like I said about the education department, that's what my brother Rolf got, was a bachelor's in education, because he really wasn't good at anything else. And as long as you toe the cultural Marxist party line and stuff, that's what my niece did. I didn't really finish the story on her because I have a tendency to go tangential, especially when I'm tired and I'm covering a complex subject. And I know that I'm talking to an audience that probably a majority of them are complete blithering idiots. My niece published 4 books encouraging little girls to get into science, technology, and engineering. And please, as somebody as a paid and professional and published writer and editor, I've edited a lot of other people's work. I won't change your style, but I'll point out where you're fucking up. That's what a real editor does. I never try to change somebody's style. And those 4 books, she was giving them away and stuff like that. It's like one of them was Serafina, her little heroine, and she doesn't even know the etymology of the word heroine. Serafina has 99 props. She's trying to talk like a kid. Problems. And they're all plastic. And the first time I saw that book on the web, I zoomed in and you could clearly see that the book cover, at least, has a plastic laminate on it, making it unrecyclable. Unrecyclable. Her writing is just god awful. I actually took an excerpt and sent it to my buddy Bruno, who's good at technical legal writing. He doesn't have my creative skills when it comes to writing history and stuff. It's a little more colorful and vulgar and that sort of thing. He tries to avoid that. Actually, he does avoid that, and he really doesn't. So, all of you idiots out there that think you're smarter than me, good luck with that. You really have no idea. And the guy goes, "That's not what rhetoric means. It means using all these fancy words to try to buffalo them and bullshit people." That's the old 60s terms for you. I'm tired of the political rhetoric, and yet there they are presenting their false, unfounded, non-factual rhetoric. I'm sorry, I'm having real trouble keeping. I'm at 20 minutes. I don't really care because I want to get on a tear. It's actually, a lot of people find me very entertaining and educational and enlightening. People of all ages and stuff like that. But I do want to remind people is that this sudden jump up was not deliberate. I came across, it came up on my feed. I want to remind you one more time, because a lot of people are only watching my most recent videos, that this hobo shoestring popped up on my, and I go, this guy is a complete mess. I might watch a little more. And I got into it, and because one of the first things that caught me was that, as I keep repeating, he was really too clean to be an active, hobo. He's just, it doesn't, and his constant, and you can even go back in his videos and tell from the start, he's doing product promotion as much as he can. He's a guy who studied it and stuff like that, unlike Strobe, who just kind of shot randomly and definitely was gay. Please, somebody subscribe to my channel. Probably a railroad fan. And that's what started bringing all this crap my way. I just thought it was hilarious. There you go. That this guy was faking it as a still active hobo when he really hadn't been for many years. And he's trying to, but he's a fake and a bullshit artist, and all of his followers, including somebody who used to be a law enforcement officer in Florida, think he's a great guy. And they all a bunch of smack talking, bad dad. They're all fucking narcissists. Most of them are homosexual or latently homosexual, don't even know that they're queer as shit. This past like 10, 12 days, it's been like I've been caught in a fucking one of them wrestling, worldwide wrestling, bitch talking, shit talking stuff, it's where it's actually all rehearsed. Remember, he started it first. He started posting on Facebook first. I went to his Facebook page. Probably been taken down by now and stuff. And then he finally posted on his community post to attack me and outright, order to his troops to attack me. This guy's going crazy with just a little bit of money and a little bit of influence. And let me tell you something. 179,000 people, subscribers to a channel, does not a millionaire make. And if all your followers are even dumber than the people who followed Adolf Hitler, and they were all gay. Yeah, his private army was all, the brown shirts were the gay men of Munich and Berlin and stuff like that. Once he installed his black shirts, he went into the brown shirts barracks and began calling out as his new troops, their replacements, began beating them to death as quietly as possible at night. You homosexual swine! That's true. I believe I got that out of The Anatomy of Human Destructiveness. I don't argue with idiots. I might attempt to educate them, but I'd say about half the planet, people on this planet, are narcissists who cannot, under any circumstances, be educated to anything that does not puff up their vanity and their mythomania and their fabulism which is what all that I'm describing Alex Jones, for one thing. So good luck. Just remember what Mark Twain said: never argue with idiots. I don't. Now I got to go back and clean up the mess that was left by some guy that doesn't even know the definition of rhetoric. I think he claimed he looked it up in a dictionary. What, the Urban Dictionary, the Street Dictionary, the what? Never argue with an idiot.